Hello everyone.
Hello. We are very happy to be here today. This is Bindu.
Hello everyone. I am Bindu Bhandari from Nepal.
And I am Ralitera from Madagascar. And we are part of a youth NGO called Climates.
Climates is an international think and do tank which has the motto of empowering the climate generation. So we are a very young organization, completely cool youth are there. Like we are working, there are members from nearly 40 countries in our climates, and we have different sorts of projects that we are working, and every of our projects are focused on tackling the issue of the climate change.
And we have some questions for you, Mrs. Ambassador.
Yeah.
So the first question I would like to ask you is, how are you going to implement the SDGs at a personal level? Because for me it's very important also to be exemplary in your work, because this is a real issue, this is a real topic, top topic for you, I guess.
Congratulations to let me congratulate both of you, Zaya and Bindu, for this organization, Climates. I have been involved in it for a while, and I'm very passionate about young leadership and young women's leadership, and this is what I see before me, so congratulations and thank you. I am interested in seeing the next generation of activists, especially in the field of development, come forward, so you represent that as well. These Sustainable Development Goals, it's a wonderful opportunity to transform the world. I have been, for the last 50 years or more, involved in whatever I can to improve the condition of people in the world and the world itself. So this is a great opportunity. At a very personal level, you can say maybe goal number 11 or number 10, consumption and production. I think that's the most important that I can act on. So I am a farmer when I'm not a diplomat, and I use organic farming methods to reduce the toxics that go into the environment, into our water supply and so on. I also try to practice non-toxic lifestyle. My hair, I do not put chemicals in my hair and my nails, in my household supplies. I'm reducing the use of plastics, the use of toxics, and I'm always spreading the word to my friends and neighbors. But I also, for SDG number 2, to come to Zero Hunger, I sit on the National Zero Hunger Challenge Initiative Board. And here we are seeking to educate people about the importance of moving in a climate resilient way in terms of production. So with the help of the Food and Agricultural Organization, we are promoting climate resilient crops like cassava to encourage farmers to plant more cassava, which goes under the earth. So whether there is drought or whether there is famine, it still seems to thrive, and many other strategies. But I think the main thing I'm doing in my personal life is my professional life. I've taken this job at the United Nations to scale up global knowledge and global momentum.
Thank you for your inspiring life and lead. Bindu, I think you have a question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ambassador, for your inspiring day-to-day life, like how you are implementing. I have a question. I am a youth, and I have a question from a youth perspective. Like, as a youth, how can we youth trust you and your generation to provide us all the resources and the materials to implement the SDGs?
Don't trust us alone. Don't trust us alone. We have to work together. 20 years ago, I started a youth NGO. Well, it was an NGO to send youth to secondary school. And I've been doing it for 20 years, maybe 30, 45 at a time, sometimes 20, depending on the funding. We support all their tuition, their transportation, their exam fees. But in exchange, we demand that they do something in the country. Now, that is a partnership so that my knowledge, my resources is available to them, and their leadership is the contribution that they have to make. So I think it's not so much about trusting adults in a blind way, but working together. And we adults, we have to learn to rely on you and to trust you. Because I think that, we think we know more than you, which we do. But it doesn't mean that we know exactly the answer for this or that problem. Quantity is not quality. Quantity by itself has to be applied appropriately, and that's what the youth does. So I think we have to build up a relationship, and that will build up trust. And I'm very pleased to see how the young people today are moving with a great amount of determination and conviction. When I was your age, I was searching. I was very active. I've been active since I was 7 as a volunteer in many organizations. But I wasn't as confident as you are now. You are sure, you are certain, you are using information, you know what you want, you are building organizations. And I think we have to trust that you know what is right for you. Not about the future so much, but about today. Because it's today that will take you to the future. So for me, I am comfortable with youth leadership, to me, yes. And so I want to encourage young people around the world to work in partnership, yes. And to also, respect elder people, but you don't have to deny your knowledge or your creativity in the process. It's a teamwork.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Yeah, I completely agree. As a youth, I believe that youth are the present. Like we have been hearing, youth are the future, but I strongly object to this sentence. Youth are not just the future, youth are the present. In the future, we'll be old. We are here now for the present. And I really appreciate, and it's very motivating to hear from you that we can go with the partnership from our seniors, and we can use their experience and our creativity to build a better future together for a sustainable world. Thank you so much for your motivating answer.
Thank you. Just to leave you with the example, I wish I had another one, but the one that comes quickest to mind now is Bernie Sanders in the United States. A man in his 70s who was able to lead a movement that was essentially a movement of young people. So it's that kind of combination. It is the youthfulness of the ideas, the youthfulness of the commitment, the willingness to work together across generations. Because what is important is the change. We need an improvement in life, and you can get it at any age. I am going to go down working for change, but I hope I'm not the only one. I hope that it's a big global movement of people like yourselves. So thank you very much.
So much.
And go home and find out about the SDGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have written to all the presidents of the world, asking them to get youth involved in the teaching of the SDGs. So call up your presidential palace and tell them you want to know about the SDGs and you want to help make them happen.
Yeah, I think we will. I think we will totally do that, and I agree with your statement that youth is going to take the lead on SDGs. And one of the concern, because climate activism showed us different model of societies, and I would like to know how the SDGs are going to promote those different models of societies, which are not only based on Western standards, and help them grow and make the world more different with diversity and.
I mean, that is for the countries to do. The SDGs, they are just a global framework. They're a sort of master plan around, ending hunger, ending poverty, equality for women, equality between countries. So it's a framework of what we can do to improve the living conditions of people and the health of the world.
Okay.
So different societies have to go about it in a manner that is culturally sustainable to them. You cannot do what another country is doing unless it works for you. So the message for us is to do something that is appropriate, that is healthy, that is inclusive, that is wholesome for your country. And beyond your country, your community. What is going on in the capitals is different from what's going on in the rural sector. So you have to, agriculture, coastal management, everything that is relevant has to be determined by the people themselves. What we do is we want to keep up momentum. We want to encourage you. We want to find out what you are doing, because the implementation is by you. We just try to encourage action, but you have to decide if you want solar energy. You have to decide, you know, if you're going to encourage girls to stay in school, you know. Okay. So we can help. The UN system as a whole can help with projects and programs, but the office that I represent, we really just have convening power and will and determination and speaking to the world, making sure you know about it and supporting your initiatives in climate. For example, we have a big oceans conference next year, so we want to let you know and invite you. It's in June in New York, and it's going to be massive. So we want all the young people who care about the ocean to come and bring your solutions, bring your ideas, and go global with them. We will have a youth forum in New York also, and come there and tell us what you're doing. Be a champion, be an envoy.
And how can we make sure that inclusivity for the youth forum you're going to organize is respected? And how, what can I do, for instance, to make sure that the inclusivity, the people who are maybe far away from any kind of communication can reach you and fight and make sure and show you that they are here and they need support?
At the United Nations, there is a young man from, I believe he's Egyptian, so he's your African brother, who is the special envoy for youth. And anything anywhere around the world that has to do with youth, it is his responsibility for it in the UN system. And I can give you his email when I get off line. And I can also tell you, I'll give you my email. If you write to me, I will point you in the right direction. But I hope you have 1 million people watching, but I hope 1 million people don't write to me. So what I would say to you is the youth envoy is really important. But 1 million of you, call your president's office, call the Minister of Foreign Affairs, call the Development Ministry, call the Ministry of Education, and say to them, I want to get involved in sustainable development for my present and my future. How can I help? In my own country, I come from a small island in the Caribbean called Grenada. In Grenada, we have what we call the Sustainable Development Council, and it's been going on for 20 years. We meet once a month, and we have presentations on every topic you can imagine. And people get empowered, they get networks, they get ideas, we get project support. So the most important thing is to get involved. But you could only get involved if you're organized. I mean, you can do it as an individual, but it's far more powerful to join organizations in your school, in your neighborhood, you know, on the web as you have now with Climates. You can do it in 40, scale that up to 80 countries and get the youth of the world taking positive action. Use the internet to share knowledge about the fact that a new future is possible. We have 14 more years to meet the goals of the SDGs. And we have maybe 5 years to kickstart the Paris Agreement. They are one and the same. The more action we have in climate change, the better it is for us to do development, you know. So if, for example, we get financing to prevent coastal erosion under the climate change financing, that is something that is good for the SDGs. So any action that can improve the life of rural people and take us to a healthy future is worth doing, and I encourage you to do it. And I'll give you my, in fact, you can take my email online because I could remember it. It's williamsd@un.org. williamsd@un.org. And I'm working with a team of about 12 persons. A lot of them young, a young man from Qatar, a young man from China, a young man from Ecuador, a young woman from, you know, many different places we have. And if the email comes in to me according to the topic you are addressing, transportation, cities, data, health, I will pass it to one of them. And these are young people in the office brought in specifically to implement the SDGs. And the president, who should be here and whom I'm representing, is a man my age from Fiji, but is dedicated to youth involvement more than I am, much more than I am. So what we want is to make sure that when we leave office in the next 10 months, we will be gone. Another group will come. But we hope that part of the legacy of the President, Peter Thompson, is that he has mobilized the youth of the world to take ownership and to take responsibility for their future, and that we have supported them. So write in and we'll let you know how we can support you. The United Nations is a major organization that all your governments are paying to keep up. You should get the benefit of it the way you want.
Thank you so much for the answer. It was really inspiring and motivating, of course. At times, what I feel is like I have been a youth campaigner since last 3 years. I have been working in different areas of my country, Nepal. Nepal is one of the least developed countries. What I have felt is like youth are making noises, youth are making voices, they are raising voices and creating a momentum. But I felt like at times no one is hearing them. They are shouting, they are creating the momentum, making the noises, but no one is hearing them. But of course, if we can get support, if we got heard by the people, inspiring personalities who have the experience of work like you and the other, then I hope that together we can build an inclusive, equitable world in the future.
Bindu, I don't know your age, but you look very young. And I told you already that you have gone further than my generation did at your age. So one of the lessons learned is patience. Not complacency, but a certain level of patience. Transformation is a long-term thing. That's why it's important to start early and to do it together. Otherwise, you say, I don't see any progress. But it takes a while for things to change. When I was 7 years old, I was a volunteer in a rural clinic to help weigh sick children and make sure that 2 weeks later, with the nutrition support they got, that they had actually put on weight. And I watched this happen where mothers would come from nutritional support. It's now 50 years later since I've been doing that. And there still is a level of malnutrition in the country. Not as much as before, but still a little bit is there. So I mean, what I'm saying is that you have to be ready for long-term transformation. However, the more you do it together, you can make a quicker transformation. Secondly, don't say you are not being heard. You have the global stage. I was working up in a rural country where it's just my family and the patients and the nurse who knew about it. Now, if you have an idea, instantly you can spread it. So use that to speed up and to scale up. And the thing is, you have to just get clarity about what you can do and what you want to do. Clean water. I mean, that's a revolution waiting to happen. 1 billion people need clean toilets in Haiti, in my own country, everywhere. So can you do something with that through connecting across the world? If everybody who is on your media, maybe let's say contributed $1 to an NGO in Haiti, they can do dry toilets, toilets that do not require the use of water, which therefore reduces the pressure on water, reduces the damage in the earth. So I think that one of the suggestions I'll give you for Nepal, for Madagascar, for wherever in the world you are, is to pick a project and do it. Decide on an action that you can do for the next 15 years. So you will say, in my lifetime, I started this action under the SDGs, and I took it to 14 years of success. anything. It could be educating girls. It could be cleaning up the environment. It could be, you know, equality between boys and girls. It could be forming new partnerships around the world. Pick a project that will help change the world according to your vision, to improve the earth, to improve people, and say, we will do it for 15 years. That's a challenge I give you. Because you're young, you can work
I
for
happily
15
accept the challenge.
Me too. We will take the challenge in climate.
And like,
I am going to be around. I'm going to be looking for you.
when we are saying I, like we are representing the youth and not only us. Yeah, just one more question. Like I was just wondering, I asked only from the youth perspective. Like I would like to know from a global perspective, like what would be the urgent issue or urgent step that you would like to adopt to encourage the countries which are least developed or which are in the transition phase to implement the SDGs?
Well, I think the first thing is stability. You know, stability in the countries. And so those of our countries that are not in open conflict, please keep it that way. And more than that, let us always seek for cooperation, harmony in our countries, in our families, in our neighborhoods. You know, there are big differences, but let's look for the bigger commonalities. For the countries that are in conflict, I think the rest of us have to help them. So I know that in the United Nations, we are doing a lot to help girls and boys in refugee camps and living under occupation and running away from their countries to make sure that they finish their education. So that's a project that, you know, is important for the future of the SDGs, because if people are not stable and are not aware and are not educated, they can't really take action. I mean, the second thing I think is very important is poverty and hunger. If people are so destitute and they have to go to the garbage bin to seek their meals, they cannot be healthy mentally, emotionally, or physically. So food production. And that means if you have food, do not waste it. Don't take more than you can eat. Don't throw away 40% of your food. Start with your own personal ethical behavior, and you will be surprised you could make a global movement out of that. So when you think about what actions you can take, think about implementing these strategies in your own life. And then in your community, and as I said already, approach your governments to make sure that they spread the word, that everybody knows that there are 17 key goals that are being supported by the United Nations, and that young people in particular are called. I mean, I have all of the goals are my favorite. Ending hunger, ending poverty, gender equality, education, and the stability of communities and the world. And everything else is interconnected. It's one agenda. So just see where you feel you're most passionate and you can be a lawyer, you can be an architect, you can be a fashion designer, you can be a model, you can be a farmer, you can be a housewife, you can be a prefect, a teacher. Get to know your role that you like and do it. And just do something.
Okay, we hear your words, and I think we all here in this room at least take global actions in your personal and activist life. And this is very inspiring to hear you. And I would like, again, to call for a global youth movement to take action on not only SDGs, but on the climate. And they are very related. And I would like to know if some people in the stage have questions.
Yes.
Any questions, please?
Thank you. A great question. I think the biggest problem is that people are not aware of them and they are not working together to make it a web of global action. So knowledge is the first barrier, I think. So we have to know about them. Maybe you can take the map, the flyer. Yes. Let me hold it up because these are the 17 SDGs, you know, and you can read them. Each one is attractive as a game changer for the human condition. So I think the barrier is people are not aware of it. Secondly, there isn't a global movement around it, but that can happen. Remember, human rights is now a global movement. Girls' education with Malala. Women's rights is a global movement now. Renewable energy is a global movement. The peace movement, and so on. But it takes a lot of work. So you could begin to remove the barriers by getting to know them and linking within your country and across regions to people who are doing things excuse me, on peace, on education, on clean water and sanitation. All of those are ways in which you can get involved. So as I said, for me, it's important that I practice a sustainable lifestyle, you know? And secondly, it's important that I work for ending hunger and ending poverty, which speaks to me in my growing up and in my country. And equality for girls and girls' education, which is important to me. My parents did not finish secondary education, but they found it important that all of us finish university. So I have that passion as well. And then, of course, climate change, which damages all the small island states and the rest of the world. That's another passion. So, you know, and I can go on and on. And I think that if you take a look at your society, you will understand that every goal mentioned here can be addressed in Madagascar or in Nepal or worldwide. So pick your action and do it. Do something.
Thank you, Mrs. Ambassador. We will take actions, as we are already taking actions, and we will push harder and make our voices heard more and more. And with your help, with the help of SDGs, and in your countries and at a global level. And we really thank you for answering our questions.
When I go back to New York, I will tell your ambassador from Madagascar and your ambassador from Nepal to connect to you all, and that they have great girls' resources in the country waiting to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.